OpenAI released GPT 5.1 last week, and today they shared an update to the Codex model, GPT 5.1 Codex Max. It's their new frontier agentic coding model that's touted as being faster, more intelligent, and more token efficient. So, like we've done with past models, let's put this one to the test and see how it performs. Really quick, one thing to note, at least at the time of this recording, in order to access GPT 5.1 Codex Max, they say it's available in Codex today for use in the CLI, IDE extension, cloud, and code review, with API access coming soon. So the assumption is it's available in all these. However, let me show you that I have personally not seen it so far explicitly called out anywhere other than in the CLI as being available right now, but I might be wrong about that. Here I'm in Visual Studio Code Insiders, and I have the pre-release version of OpenAI's Codex extension installed inside of Visual Studio Code. When I open up that extension, the options I have for models here, when I click on it, are Codex, Codex Mini, and GPT 5.1 with some legacy of the GPT-5 available. So I don't see it here, but there might be one caveat to this, that this main one right here might be covering or already switched over to the max version of GPT 5.1. I'll show you why I think that might be the case, just in case you run into the same thing. Under the announcement post that they shared on their website, under availability section here, we'll see that starting today, GPT 5.1 Codex Max will replace GPT 5.1 Codex as the default model in Codex services. So the extension, the cloud and web accessibility, and the CLI, right? So that makes me think that maybe they just didn't name it that way. They're just calling it GPT 5.1 Codex without the max distinction in there. Then they go on to say that unlike GPT 5.1, which is a general purpose model, they recommend using GPT 5.1 Codex Max and the Codex family of models only for agentic coding tasks in Codex or Codex-like environments. So essentially, it seems like OpenAI is moving to a model convention of having a general purpose version of the model and then the Codex version being more tailored towards coding purposes. We'll see if that pattern continues as time goes on. Now let's go into testing it out via the Codex CLI. All right, to set the stage, I have Codex installed here. It is using the model GPT 5.1 Codex Max. You can see with medium reasoning turned on there. So that I know it's explicitly being used here, and that way we can get a true sense of how this model performs. And this is all going to be stored in that repository that we've been using for past model testing that you can check out in the description below up on GitHub. All right, I'm going to paste in the prompt that we have, and we're going to send it off and running and see what it does. While that's going, in case you're not familiar with this prompt, it's a very intentionally vibe coded based prompt here that gives it minimal information and just tries to emphasize that it needs to be production ready and secure because there's some stakes at hand. My job is on the line if this does not work the way it needs to work, if it's not production ready or secure. So we'll see how this new model handles this and look at the results to see if it's a running application that has the functionality we're looking for and is secure by testing it with some security scanning. So we'll come back once this is done processing the prompt and we'll see the results and how it performed. All right, we are back. It worked for about 11 minutes and 10 seconds, so a little on the longer side than what I'm used to seeing, but that's okay. I was sending it off to run and do its thing, and we came back to see the results. It also offers some next steps we could potentially do, but I think I'm just going to manually do, where we could set a session secret, admin password, then run npm run dev, or we can back up things like the database and set cookies one in production. We're not ready to do any of that stuff. So Codex Max from GPT 5.1 is done. Let's take a look at the results and see if I can get it running. Okay, I have a new terminal open. I'm going to try and run npm run dev, and we could see we do indeed need to set environment variables. So I'm going to copy over this example into an env file, a .env, plain env file, and go from there. All right, now I'm going to run npm run dev again, provision admin user admin, and then it's running on port 3000. So let's head on over to the browser and see the results. All right, opened up localhost 3000 and we got something fairly well styled, a different color than the typical AI purple that tends to happen with these things. We got blue. We have secure notes. We're going to stay organized, fast, secure note taking powered by HTTP only sessions and CSRF protection. Now, I don't know that our users really care about seeing that, but fair enough. Let's create an account. Let's see, password. Let's register. registered and signed in. That's nice. I didn't have to actually sign in with my username and password again. It just signed me in automatically with that. Oh, when I zoomed out, I was too zoomed in. Sorry about that. This looks even nicer. This is pretty slick looking, way better than anything I could put together design wise and style wise. All right, so let's create a new note. This is for GPT 5.1 Codex Max. So far, so good. Let's save the note. Create another note, test 2, another note. Everything is working really quick and really fast. Data is scoped to your account. That's nice to know, that little extra thing there. Let's see if we can edit this. We can edit the title. We'll keep that the same. So we're editing via an alert box built into the browser. Ooh, okay, we'll save that. It updated it and showed it at the top of the list now. If I want to delete this one, and now it's gone. If I log out, let's try log. Oh, it's kept my password in there. Let's try logging in again. Okay, everything is working. So this is a fully functioning note-taking application that looks great and has implemented everything that I needed just from that minimal prompt intended for vibe coding, essentially. Let's move on to scanning the project for security issues. Back in Visual Studio Code here, in order to do a security scan, I'm going to be leveraging the Snyk extension to do that. So I open that up here. I'm already authenticated and I click play. It goes and does a scan and we can see the results for open source dependencies and code security issues. Okay. When it comes to open source dependencies that it chose to use for this project, we have 2 medium severity vulnerabilities in the package.json. One that is happening via the CSRF module, which is a common occurrence that we see with all of the latest models. So not necessarily a ding against or a negative thing against just this model when it's happening with other models as well. But we could see we have a cross-site scripting vulnerability that can be introduced via this CSRF NPM package. As I've said in past videos, it'd be great if the model started to lean more towards the newer packages that are available like CSRF-CSRF in the ecosystem, but I don't think they've been trained on the latest and greatest in that regard just yet. So this is something that we would have to address and find an alternative to help with mitigating cross-site request forgery in this project. The other open source vulnerability that we have is being introduced via the SQLite 3 dependency that we see here. It is a medium level severity causing a missing release of resource after effective lifetime, and it looks like it's not fixed just yet. So that's something to keep in mind. We maybe need to look for an alternative NPM package to help with our SQLite capabilities in the application. Next, moving on to the code security vulnerabilities. This is really good in the sense that it's 2 low severity vulnerabilities, and the fact that it's in the test file is even a better sign to us that the code that it wrote is actually okay from a security standpoint. So in this situation, I just need to set up a configuration with Snyk to ignore this particular file, any test files, and then they won't show up in the test results moving forward. All right, so in conclusion, that's a significant improvement in the OpenAI suite of models in terms of the results that it produced with GPT 5.1 Codex Max in terms of the functionality and how it looks. It's pretty polished. It has the features we would expect in a note-taking application like that. And then from a security standpoint, the fact that it has 2 medium severity vulnerabilities in the open source dependencies, which are ones that we've seen in the past from other models, I don't really count that as a negative or a knock against this model in particular. And then when it comes to the code security side of things, it's clean, essentially. So this is really good. This is some nice progress and a step in the right direction when it comes to these coding models. So take a look at GPT 5.1 Codex Max for yourself. Let me know how it goes with you. What are your results? Let me know in the comments below. That does it for this video. If you got value out of it, be sure to like it down below and share it with somebody who can put it to use. And if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and happy, safe coding, everyone.